Hey, Aries. If you're hearing this right now, it's not by accident. There's a reason your heart paused here, in this exact moment. Sometimes, before something powerful unfolds, the soul feels a quiet tremor, a gentle signal, like the breath of the universe brushing softly against your skin. Can you feel it? Because what's coming is strong, not to test you but to call your name. So take a deep breath and listen slowly. Because everything you're about to hear might be the message the universe has been waiting a long time to deliver to you. The universe has its own quiet way of touching the human heart. Never loud, never dramatic, just a soft breeze passing by, leaving behind a feeling that's both familiar and distant at the same time. Aries, if you're hearing this right now, it's not by chance. The universe is using my voice to whisper something to you, something your soul has sensed for a long time but never dared to name. There are moments when you think you're lost in darkness, but in truth, that's when the light is getting ready to reveal itself. Life doesn't always give you the answers right away, but it always leaves signs, small ones, the kind only a still heart can notice. A fleeting encounter, a dream that repeats itself, or that sudden pull that makes you stop and press your hand to your chest, that's the moment the universe is calling your name. I want you to pause for a second and listen, not with your ears, but with your soul. Can you hear that heartbeat? It's whispering softly. It's time. It's time to step into a phase where everything that once felt random begins to make sense. Maybe you've endured silence, distance, unfinished words. But those empty spaces, they were sacred. They were making room for something divine to find its way back to you. The one who's been thinking of you isn't just remembering their awakening. Some part of them realizes that you are the energy they once lost along their path. And no matter the distance, the time, or the fear that made them turn away, something stronger is now guiding them back. I know you've learned to be strong. You've learned how to smile even when your heart was torn apart. But my dear Aries, strength doesn't mean shutting the door to miracles. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is to let yourself feel again, even if it's just a fleeting warmth, a quiet knowing that someone is choosing you not out of need, but out of truth. Let me tell you this, from the deepest place of honesty. Not every choice in life is random. Some were written before you were born. And right now, one of those choices is being activated. When someone dares to choose you among countless roads, it's not just love, it's a message that your soul is being called back to its destiny. So trust that you haven't been forgotten. Every time you've wondered, why hasn't anyone truly seen me? The universe has been whispering back, I'm preparing the right one for you. And today, I only ask you to do one thing, believe in what you cannot see. Because sometimes, what's invisible holds the power to change everything you can touch. Maybe you've already felt this energy in the wind, in someone's eyes, or in a moment of silence where your heart suddenly filled with emotion. Don't dismiss it. Those little signs are the melody of fate, and it's playing just for you. If my words touch you, let your heart respond. Write down what you feel, even just one word. Because the moment you acknowledge it, you open the first door to a miracle. And when the universe wants to speak, it doesn't begin with thunder or noise, it begins with stillness. It's within that silence that every soul knows. A new chapter is quietly opening. A chapter not written in fear but in the courage to receive what's coming. Because, Aries, where there is stillness, energy begins to move. Every movement in the universe begins with vibrations so subtle, most people never notice them. But for those who are quiet enough to listen, those signals sound like a fragile melody, a song that hums softly in the depths of the soul. Aries, can you hear it? The first notes of something about to change. Awakening doesn't always arrive with blinding light. More often, it comes disguised as ordinary moments, a dream that repeats itself, a face that drifts through your mind, a familiar song echoing in a crowded street. You might call it coincidence, but sometimes coincidence is simply the universe's favorite language. There is a soul who once walked out of your life now being stirred awake. They thought they'd gone too far, thought they had forgotten, but no one can truly escape the call of destiny. Somewhere inside them, a quiet part still remembers the light you carry, still dreams of that moment when two hearts once shared the same rhythm. And now, as energy begins to move again, they're hearing that call louder than ever. This isn't just about love, it's about truth. The truth both souls once feared, once buried. The truth that some connections never die, they simply sleep, waiting for the courage to open their eyes again. I know you, Aries. You've walked through enough loss to understand not everything that returns deserves to stay. But sometimes, the universe doesn't send someone back so you can relive the story. It sends them so you can see how much you've grown. When you can stand before what once broke you and feel peace instead of pain, that's when you know you've healed. Think about this: those recent dreams might not be random. Maybe they're not just pictures in your mind, but your soul speaking to another soul across a higher plane. When two hearts have known each other deeply, that bond never severs. It only grows quiet, waiting for the right silence to sing again. Have you noticed how sensitive you've become lately? A small sound startles you, a simple sentence warms your heart or pulls it down. Don't see that as weakness, it's a sign that your heart is opening again after being locked for far too long. And when the heart opens, energy begins to flow. The one who went silent may be writing a message right now, a message they're still too afraid to send. Maybe it's just 2 words, "I'm sorry." Or maybe they just want to know you're okay. Whether they speak or not, their energy is already reaching you like a breeze brushing against your skin, unseen, yet deeply felt. Sometimes their return isn't through a person at all, but through an experience, a new face, a new chance, a moment that forces you to make the same choice as before, but this time you choose differently. And in that choice, the cycle finally breaks. That's healing, the kind that happens at the deepest level. Aries, take a slow, steady breath. And think about the little signs you've overlooked: 1111 on the screen, that old song playing at the exact moment you needed it, a stranger's eyes that feel achingly familiar. Each one is a whisper from the universe, reminding you that something is shifting. If these words resonate, share your story. Because when you tell it, you don't just release your own energy, you help another soul realize they're walking the same path. We heal each other through honesty, compassion, and the quiet courage to believe again. Don't be afraid if the changes feel fast. The wind only blows hard when it's trying to clear the old. And inside that wind, new seeds are being planted. One day, in a moment of stillness, you'll realize that every sign, every coincidence, every faint vibration was the overture to something sacred drawing near. No noise, no warning, just a breath between 2 worlds. So don't try to figure it all out right now. Just listen. Energy doesn't come to be analyzed, it comes to be felt. And when you finally feel it, you'll understand that this movement, this quiet awakening, has never been a stranger at all. There are moments in life when 2 streams of energy, the past and the future, suddenly meet. No warning, no invitation. It's just an ordinary morning. You open your eyes, and your soul feels that something is drawing near, a presence, both warm and frightening, as if your heart already knows that a door is about to open. And behind it is a familiar face you thought you had forgotten. Aries, this meeting is not a coincidence. It's been orchestrated with care, woven by invisible threads of energy that only hearts once genuine can sense. It might be someone who once hurt you, someone who made you lose faith in love, but that's exactly why their return holds the deepest power to heal. Not to start over, but to close a circle, not with regret, but with understanding. When two souls who once separated out of fear meet again in maturity, when there's no anger, no blame, just quiet recognition in the eyes, that's when the universe smiles softly. Because in that moment, you've learned one of life's hardest lessons. Forgiveness doesn't mean agreement, it means freedom. Many believe that courage is running toward love, but true courage is being able to stand still in front of the one who once broke you, smile gently, and say, "I hold no anger anymore." That's not weakness. That's the silent victory of a heart that has walked through fire and still chose compassion. The universe doesn't test you through goodbyes. It watches how you respond when what once left returns. This time, you won't need to prove, to explain, or to plead. You'll simply stand steady, knowing who you are and knowing what truly deserves to stay. If that person really comes back, see them through the eyes of your soul, not through the eyes of longing. Look closely. Have they truly changed, or are they just searching for the light they lost when they left you? Remember, sometimes people don't come back to love again, they come back to learn what love really means. And sometimes they return only so you can realize that you no longer need them to feel at peace. I know there are still wounds inside you. Maybe you still wonder, if they had chosen me sooner, would things be different? But Aries, if it had happened earlier, perhaps neither of you would have been ready enough to keep it. Nothing comes late in the timeline of the soul. Everything arrives right on time. Think of this reunion as a test not of whether you still love, but of how deeply you've understood your lesson. Will you let the past control your present, or will you step through it with the wisdom of one who knows what pain is, yet still chooses love? The world is full of people who want to be loved, but so few who dare to love with freedom, without control, without possession. Once you learn that, you stop fearing loss, because you finally know what's meant for you will always stay, one way or another. If that moment comes when the past stands before you again, take a deep breath. Don't look through the old eyes. See through the eyes of someone who's walked through the night and realized the dawn was never gone. When you do that, you don't just forgive them, you set yourself free. This collision of energies isn't an ending, but a crossroads of two souls being reborn. Maybe you won't choose each other again, but you'll walk away lighter, clearer, more grateful. Believe this: after every tremor of the heart, the universe always leaves behind a gift, a quiet, knowing that everything happens for a reason, even pain. Because it's pain that teaches you how to love without fear, to give without losing yourself, to live without needing to prove your worth. And sometimes, when you finally release, in the past, you don't lose anyone. You simply make room for what's right to come closer, like a river that stops resisting and finds its way back to the sea. And perhaps, Aries, in that gentle letting go what truly belongs to you, is already returning, not to repeat the story but to begin a completely new one, where your heart no longer trembles in fear, but beats freely in the rhythm of freedom. My dear Aries, sometimes we don't really lose someone, we only lose ourselves in the effort to be seen. We try to become a version that others can love, understand, accept, and in doing so, we slowly forget that our soul was born already whole. In the quiet spaces between emotional storms, the universe keeps asking us the same gentle question, soft as breath, yet deep as a temple bell. Have you chosen yourself yet? It's not a question meant to shame you, but to awaken you, to remind you of all those moments you said yes when your heart whispered no, of all the times you stayed silent out of fear of losing someone, while what you truly lost was the respect for your own spirit. Choosing yourself isn't closing the door to the world, it's opening the door to your self-worth. It's knowing when to draw the line, when to say enough to what drains your soul. It's the moment you stop proving, stop asking for permission to simply be, And when you do, you no longer need love to fill you, because you are already full from within. Someone once said, "We can only receive love at the level we believe we deserve it." If we live with a sense of lack, everything that comes to us will carry that same lack. If we believe we are small, others will treat us as such. But the day you stand tall and say, "I no longer need anyone to validate my worth," that's the day even the universe bows and begins to return all the blessings you once thought you didn't deserve. Look back, Aries. You've walked through countless silent nights, carried burdens that weren't yours, tried to hold on to those who were already gone, and still, you kept loving. You believed kindness would make people stay, but now you know, kindness only has real power when it begins with you. Imagine this. If today you met the version of yourself from years ago, the one who cried for not being chosen, the one who questioned her own worth, would you embrace her or judge her for being weak? Embrace her, because it was through those wounds that you learned patience, empathy, and above all, tenderness toward your own heart. Choosing yourself isn't turning away from love, it's loving with awakened eyes. It's knowing you don't need someone to save you, because you were never lost, you were only finding your own light again. And once that light shines, it draws toward you souls who carry the same glow within them. Aries, if you're standing at the edge of a decision, ask your heart, does this bring me peace? If the answer is yes, that's your path. Don't choose out of fear, don't stay out of habit, and don't walk away out of pride. Choosing yourself isn't an action, it's a state of being. It's standing still while your energy speaks for you. I'm no longer chasing, I'm attracting. Peace is not something others bring to you. It's what happens when you stop fighting yourself. And when you truly find that peace, you don't need to prove anything. Love, work, abundance, they all begin to find their way to you. I know this path isn't easy. It asks you to let go of the things that once made you feel safe, even if that safety was an illusion. But when you release, you don't lose, you exchange. You trade fear for freedom, silence for the voice of your soul, old tears for new light. Let your heart become the first home you choose to return to. Treat yourself the way you once wished others would treat you. And when you do, what comes next won't feel like a miracle, it will feel like a reward for someone who finally remembered their own worth. When you choose yourself, Aries, others will learn to choose you too, not out of need, but because they can see the light of freedom within you. And that light, once it spreads, doesn't just illuminate your path, it ignites faith in those weary souls still searching for themselves. And one day, you'll understand. Pain never came to break you. It came to shape you into the version of yourself who can love without ever losing who you are. Aries, take a moment, just pause. Listen to your own breath. You'll realize that life has never truly forgotten you. Sometimes, the universe simply delivers its gifts a little late, so that your heart, the one that's known loss, has time to learn how to cherish what's coming. There are days when you feel like you're walking through a desert where nothing you plant seems to grow. Money doesn't flow. Work stands still. Opportunities pass by like wind. But even in that silence, the universe never sleeps. It's rearranging the currents of energy, testing whether you can still believe in light even when you can't yet see it. And then, one ordinary morning, things begin to move again. A message arrives. An offer opens up. A familiar voice reaches out just when you need it most. Money, chances, doors all start shifting gently, as if life itself is whispering, "Now, you're ready to receive." Aries, you've walked through enough worry to understand true wealth isn't measured in your bank account. It's found in the moment you can take a deep breath without fearing tomorrow. It's sitting alone in an empty room and still feeling at peace because you know you are enough. That's the state of a soul that no longer asks, but simply receives. I know you've had to work twice as hard to earn what others seem to gain with ease. You've traded sleep, health, even faith. But no drop of sweat has ever been wasted. The universe keeps record of it all, just as the earth remembers every seed ever planted. And now, as your energy finds its balance again, those seeds are finally starting to bloom. Divine justice doesn't arrive with noise, it shows up in small, gentle ways that make your heart lighter. A debt paid back, a smoother day at work, a full night's rest after months of unease. Those are the quiet signs of a miracle. And that miracle isn't just in the numbers you receive, but in the safety you're beginning to feel again inside your chest. Because when you stop fearing loss, you allow life to flow back toward you. Money never runs from peaceful souls. It moves toward those whose energy is calm, whose faith is steady, whose hearts are no longer ruled by fear. The universe doesn't reward those who beg it, rewards those who know they are already worthy. I want you to understand this, Aries. Your quiet efforts have been seen. Every time you chose kindness over resentment, every time you helped someone, even when you barely had enough, every moment you chose love over bitterness, it's all returning to you. Not in the form you expected, but in the form you need most: peace. And once peace finds you, everything looks different. You realize that wealth isn't about having more, it's about no longer fearing less. You begin to see that the greatest power is not in control, but in trust. And in that trust, the energy of miracles expands, touching your work, your health, your love, and every corner of your life you once thought was beyond repair. So, if lately you've felt delayed, know this: it's not punishment. It's a sacred pause, a moment for the universe to clear the path for something far better to reach you. When the flow of money and peace returns this time, they won't leave, because now you're mature enough to hold them not with fear, but with gratitude. Look around you. Everything is quietly finding its place again. Maybe you haven't noticed it yet, but your breath is steadier, your mind calmer, and your eyes, they see the world through the light of someone who finally understands they were never missing anything at all. Aries. There are some loves that aren't born to begin but to awaken. They rise only when two souls have finally grown enough to see each other in their truest light. The love I'm speaking of today isn't a fleeting passion or a need to fill an empty space. It's like a flame that once slept beneath the ashes, waiting quietly for a gentle wind to bring it back to life, not loud, not consuming, but radiant and deeply healing. Perhaps you've met this person before. Perhaps you've loved, lost, and parted in tears. But what you may not know is that when two souls share a real connection, no distance can truly separate them. Their energy keeps moving, like stars drifting silently, always, finding their way back into the same orbit, not to repeat the past but to complete it. This love isn't the return of a person, it's the awakening of your own soul. After walking through enough pain, you begin to understand love isn't about possession, it's about recognition. You no longer need them to feel whole, but their presence reminds you how much you've changed, how you now love differently, live differently, and see the world through eyes softened by compassion. They may not come to give you a new beginning, but to mirror the light you once forgot you carried. Every word, every glance, every feeling when you stand before them, it's all a reflection. And in that mirror, you no longer see someone fragile or afraid of being left behind. You see someone who has learned how to love without losing themselves. When someone chooses you this time, Aries, it's not a choice of emotion, it's a choice of the soul. They recognize in you the very energy they've been searching for. And you, after learning the art of self-love, are finally ready to love another, not out of need, but out of alignment. The universe always knows how to rearrange what was left unfinished, but it only returns things to you once you've stopped demanding them. It only sends them when you can say, "I don't need love to survive, but I'm grateful when love arrives. That's when the miracle happens, because love can only touch the ones who are quiet enough to listen, mature enough not to harm, and bright enough to guide others back to their own hearts. Remember, true love never steals your peace, it deepens it. It doesn't make you forget who you are, it makes you want to become the best version of yourself. The person who returns isn't here to fill your emptiness, they're here to walk beside you, to help you open new layers of understanding within your own heart. If right now your chest feels warm, even just a little, that isn't a fleeting emotion. It's the energy of resonance, returning home. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to analyze it. Just listen. Your heart has never been wrong. When it whispers, "This is the one," it doesn't always mean forever. It means this is the soul you needed to meet, to learn the lesson of unconditional love. Sometimes love returns not to test you, but to show you that healing is complete, that you can look at the past and no longer ache, that you can say, "I wish you peace," and truly mean it, that you can thank the pain because every tear brought you closer to the brightest version of who you are. Aries, love doesn't come to save you, it comes to awaken you. To awaken the gentleness, the forgiveness, the courage that once hid behind your scars. And when that part of you rises again, everything else begins to soften: your work, your health, your faith, your future, all nourished by that quiet, tender energy. And when your heart finally wakes unafraid of loss, unafraid of pain, you'll see that love is more than a feeling. It's a calling, because every soul that is loved the right way adds a little more light to this world. And maybe, Aries, from that love, a new layer of your journey begins, where your heart and your purpose finally beat as one. Aries, there comes a moment in every soul's journey when you realize life was never just about surviving. It was always about awakening. When every door seems to close, when it feels like you've lost everything, that's when the universe quietly opens another path, the one that leads you back home to your own soul. This is no longer a story about love or about someone from your past. This is about you, about the flame that once went out in the night and is now rising, brighter than ever before. That flame is your purpose. It's the reminder that you were not born to please the world, but to remind the world of its own light through yours. Maybe lately you've felt delayed, lost, or stuck. Plans fell apart. Opportunities slipped away. You thought it was punishment, but it wasn't. It was sacred training. The universe was shaping you to be steadier, deeper, and strong enough to carry something far greater than personal joy, the mission of your soul. Because no one can walk their destiny while still being chained by fear. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of not being enough. Those fears don't come to destroy you, they come to refine you, like fire melting metal so the pure gold can finally shine. Aries, you are walking through a rebirth. It's not an explosion. It's a quiet breath after the storm. You'll notice yourself changing the way you speak, the way you feel, the way you face the world. You'll stop asking for permission and start asking only one question: is this true to my soul? I've met many souls on their journeys, and one thing I've learned is this: when a soul remembers its mission, everything in life begins to rearrange. People who no longer align will drift away, not in anger, but in peace. Doors that once closed will open not by luck, but because you finally stepped onto the right path. Purpose isn't something far away. It's not always fame or career. Sometimes it's as simple as the peace someone feels when they're near you, or the way your words help another heart keep beating for one more day. These small moments carry the frequency of light. And when you live in alignment with that purpose, miracles begin to unfold. Time slows down. Life flows easier. You start attracting souls who vibrate like you do. Everything begins to move in rhythm again, like a song you once forgot the words to, now returning. Remember, Aries, every pain, every fall, every loss was necessary for your awakening. No tear has ever been wasted. No wound has ever been without meaning. Looking back, you'll see that every heartbreak whispered the same message. Come home. Come home to truth, to your heart, to the person you were born to become. You don't have to run anymore. You don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to save anyone to feel worthy. Your worth has always been here in your willingness to live honestly. And once you do, everything, love, money, opportunities begins to fall into place, not because you chase them, but because you've become the kind of energy they're drawn to. One day soon, you'll understand that gratitude is the language of a soul reborn. You'll find yourself saying thank you, even for the tears, the endings, the empty spaces, because only through those spaces could the light find its way in. So close your eyes for a moment, Aries, and feel it, that subtle movement inside your chest. It's faint, but undeniable. That's your soul remembering why it came here. You weren't born to stand in anyone's shadow. You were born to become the flame for yourself and for others. And when that light begins to shine, it won't stop with you. It will travel, touching every tired soul that needs a reminder that they too can rise again. Because when one soul awakens, the whole world begins to change. Take a deep breath, Aries. Because right now, as your breath meets stillness, the universe is breathing with you. No more surviving. No more long nights searching for a reason to keep going. You are standing in a moment of return, a moment of grace and gratitude. Everything that once broke you, everything that made you cry, everything that made you question your worth was never meant to destroy you. They were the stepping stones leading you home to yourself. The universe has never taken anything from you without the intention of giving something greater in return. You just needed time to understand that loss isn't the end. It's the space where the light finds its way through. Look back on your journey now, and you'll see you are no longer who you were yesterday. You've learned how to rise without needing comfort, how to smile without needing promises, and how to thank even those who once hurt you, because through them, you learned compassion. Gratitude isn't just a word. It's a state of the soul. It's the quiet knowing that allows you to look at all that has happened and say, thank you. Because of this, I've learned to love more deeply. When you are grateful, life opens. When you are grateful, blessings begin to flow. Aries, you don't need to be strong anymore. Today, just be present with the lightness in your chest, with the trust that you are being guided. Life is no longer a battle. It's a rhythm you've finally learned to dance to, even when the tempo changes. And when you look around, you'll see the simplest things hold the most magic. A calm morning, a kind hello, a gaze that reminds you you're seen. These are the signs that you're now living on the frequency of love. Bow gently to life, not because you are small, but because you understand. You understand that grace isn't somewhere far away. It lives in the way you choose to love, to trust, to continue even after breaking. And in that quiet bow, the universe bows back as if to say, thank you for not giving up. Thank you, Aries, for listening with your heart. May your path ahead always be filled with light. May you be loved in the purity of your soul. And may everything good you've ever given find its way back to you, gently, fully, and exactly as you deserve.